Hi, my name is Robin Wong and I have here with me the Olympus 45 F1.2 Pro. In this video, I want to share my experience using this lens. Let's do this. Before we dive in, here are some important disclaimers. I am an Olympus visionary and ambassador to the brand. I do not own the Olympus 45 F1.2. It is currently on loan from Olympus Malaysia and I have to return the lens to them after this review. This is not a technical review. You will not see any graphs, charts or comparisons. I'm merely sharing my experience as a professional photographer using the Olympus 45 F1.2. The Olympus 45 F1.2 was released in October 2017. It is a fairly new lens. It completes the trinity of the F1.2 Pro lenses from Olympus, alongside the 25 and 17 F1.2. Being a Pro lens, it has excellent build quality, it is fully weather sealed, and it has superb optical construction. I personally really like the look and feel of the Olympus 45 F1.2. I love the clean and minimalist design. It is pretty much consistent with any other Olympus Pro lenses. On the lens itself, you have the manual focusing clutch and you also have the lens function customizable button. Now, this lens is fully made of metal construction. I believe it is aluminum alloy. The lens feels really solid in hand. There are no creaky parts. The Olympus 45 F1.2 is not a small lens. It is about the same size as the 12-40 f2.8 Pro. I believe it balances really well if you pair it with larger Olympus bodies like the EM1X, EM1 Mark II or EM1 Mark III. However, if you use it on smaller Olympus bodies like the EM10 series or the EPL Lite series, it might get a little bit front heavy. The lens itself weighs about 410 grams. My experience using the 45 1.2 was on my own EM1 Mark II, as well as my older EM1 cameras for my professional shoots on weddings and event coverage. I have no issue handling this lens in combination with my EM1 series bodies for long shooting durations. Let's face it, the main reason why you're considering to get this 45 f1.2 or if you already have this lens is for bokeh. You want that blur background, you want shallow depth of field to isolate your subject. And the 45 f1.2 is just the right lens to do that with the super bright f1.2 aperture and an equivalent medium telephoto range of 90mm. Olympus further claims that this lens features feathered bokeh that can render blurrier, smoother and more pleasing looking background blur than conventional bright aperture lens, which features solid bokeh. I have been using this 45 f1.2 shooting at f1.2 wide open, forcing it at f1.2 for a lot of my shots just to see what the fuss is all about, and I can confidently tell you that the background blur looks delicious. It is creamy, it is dreamy, it is super blur, it's just so pleasing. It is something that you'll definitely want this lens for, just for that f1.2 feathered bokeh effect. When it comes to optical design, the 45 f1.2 have really good lens construction. It is made of 14 elements in 10 groups, including all the yummy-licious ingredients. The images from the Olympus 45 F1.2 are super sharp. This is perhaps one of the sharpest lenses in the Olympus Pro lens lineup. It is already super sharp at f1.2 wide open. You don't have to stop down any further, and the sharpness is consistent from edge to edge, corner to corner, and you get images that's full of amazing fine details and excellent contrast. The rendering of this lens is really interesting because you already get the excellent sharpness at wide open f1.2, and at the same time you get that feathered bokeh. You get that dreamy, blurry, very pleasing looking out of focus area in the background, and yet your subject is tack sharp. This brings another level of realism into your photographs. There is more depth. It looks a lot more three-dimensional. It just makes that photograph look a lot more real. When it comes to technical flow control like distortion, chromatic aberration, or corner softness, I don't see any of these issues, but I also admit that a lot of these issues are fixed by software in camera. There is a software correction working. To me, it doesn't really matter as long as I don't see any of the problems in my final images. When it comes to autofocus performance of this lens, it is blazing fast like any other Olympus Pro lenses. How do I judge the autofocus performance? When I see something that's happening, I point my camera with this lens to a set direction. I just click the shutter button. If the camera can get the shot, it means that the autofocus is fast. There are a lot of these spontaneous moments, especially when I do street photography, and also for my professional work like weddings and events, a lot of critical moments require very fast response both from the camera and lens and from myself, the photographer. And I have no issue keeping up with the fast-paced action shots that I was taking. I managed to nail these critical moments, and this lens is a very solid performer if you need it to be really fast. I can hear some of you ask, hey Robin, you're saying that this is such a great lens. The 45 f1.2 is super sharp, it gets that feathered bokeh, and it's so blazing fast. Why don't you buy one? Why don't you own one since it is such a perfect lens? Now here's my answer. The alternative, the 45 f1.8, is also such an incredible lens. And that 45 f1.8 is so small and so light. It is only 112 grams. It weighs like nothing at all. And honestly, f1.8 is plenty. It is enough for most of the photography that I'm doing, and because it's so small, I can fit into my camera bag without noticing it's inside there at all. And in terms of sharpness, I'm also very happy with what the 45 f1.8 can do. I know that this 45 f1.2 is sharper, the background blur is better, and perhaps it's that a little bit faster, but honestly, the 45 f1.8 was already sufficient to get me the shots that I want. If you are a professional photographer and you need the weather sealing, then of course the 45 f1.2 is a better option than 45 f1.8. Do not shoot the 45 f1.8 under rain or harsh weather conditions. Now, if you need to work in a tight situation, if you need to be close to your subjects, and the 75 f1.8 is just too difficult to work with, you need to step back a little bit too much, then the 45 f1.2 can bring you closer to your subject subject, and at the same time you can achieve that similar shallow depth of field effect from the 75 f1.8. So the 45 f1.2 has its place, and of course budget is not an issue. I'm sure a lot of you will want that complete trinity of 17, 25 and 45 f1.2. Currently I only have the 25 f1.2, and I still think that it is one of the best lenses from Olympus, and is my staple now for shutter therapy or my street photography sessions. Is there anything that I wish to be improved on the Olympus 45 f1.2? Of course, this is not a perfect lens. It does have its shortcomings, and only one I can think of at the moment is the close-up shooting performance. The close-up shooting can only give you 0.1 times magnification. That is barely enough to do any close-up or macro shooting. I understand and acknowledge that this is not a macro lens. Olympus didn't market this as a macro lens or has any close-up shooting feature, but being able to go closer, maybe 0.25 or 0.3 times magnification, would have made a big difference, having such a medium telephoto focal length and an f1.2 bright aperture. That's all I have to share about the Olympus 45 f1.2 in this short review video. Do you own the lens yourself? And if you have used this lens for some time, please share your experience. Do you agree with my findings? Or is there anything that I missed out? I would love to hear from you. Please leave your comments below. If you found this video useful, please consider buying me a cup of coffee, or you can contribute directly to my PayPal account. I'll put the links in the descriptions below on how you can do that. Any small contribution can go a long way. They'll keep me alive and keep this place going. I can continue to make more videos to be published here for you guys. If you have enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing to this channel if not already done so. And I will definitely see you again in the next one. Until then, stay safe and take care. Bye-bye.